I worked at a small office where the owner acted like every single minute of your day belonged to him. I was one of those employees who never caused problems. I showed up early, covered shifts, stayed late when people called out, and did way more than what I was paid for. Not because I loved the job, but because I wanted to be reliable. My boss, though, was the kind of guy who bragged about running a tight ship, which really just meant micromanaging everyone and treating adults like they were in detention. He'd complain if you took too long in the bathroom. He'd question why you clocked in at 8:59 instead of 8:55. He once gave a girl a warning because she was walking with no urgency while carrying 2 heavy boxes. So yeah, great environment. Anyway, one morning I got hit with this horrible pain in my side while I was getting ready for work. At first I thought maybe I slept weird or pulled something, but within an hour I could barely stand up. My roommate took one look at me and said, "Nope, you're going to the ER." On the way there I texted my boss and told him I was going to the hospital and would keep him updated. No response. A few hours later, after scans and blood work, the doctor told me I had a kidney stone. If you've never had one, imagine your body deciding to punish you personally. They gave me pain meds, discharge papers, and told me to rest for at least the next day. So I texted my boss again. I sent a picture of the paperwork and said I wouldn't be able to come in the next morning. This man actually replied, "You need to find coverage. We're short-staffed." Not, "Hope you're okay," not, "Feel better," just, "Find coverage." I told him I was literally leaving the hospital and was in no shape to start calling coworkers. He left me on read. The next day, I stayed home exactly like the doctor told me to. I slept most of the day, drank water, and tried not to feel like my insides were being shredded. Then around 4 p.m., I got an email from HR. It said I was being terminated for attendance issues and failure to properly support team scheduling needs. I read it 3 times because I genuinely thought it had to be some kind of mistake. I had never been written up. I had documentation, and I had told them exactly what was happening. Then my boss sent me a separate text that just said, "Actions have consequences." I'm not exaggerating when I say I stared at my phone in disbelief. Actions? My action was going to the hospital instead of dragging myself into work half dead so he wouldn't have to manage a schedule for one day. Here's the part he apparently didn't think through. My cousin is an employment attorney. I sent her everything, my texts, the hospital paperwork, the termination email, all of it. She called me that night and said, "Do not delete anything. They just handed you a case." Long story short, the company ended up settling. I got several months of pay. My termination was changed to a resignation in my file, and HR suddenly became very interested in reviewing internal management practices. A few former coworkers reached out after I left and told me my boss got forced into some kind of investigation because apparently this was not the first time he'd pulled something like this. So in the end, he fired me for missing 1 shift while I was in the hospital, and it cost his company way more than just covering my day. Honestly, the funniest part? A week after they fired me, they posted my job listing with, "We treat employees like family." Yeah, if your family sues you.